I made a note here on the Jon Jones thing. Did you follow the whole Jon Jones drama? And
the most recent one.
The only post-drama, was that he had a press conference the next day. Did you follow that press conference at all?
I saw the crying pictures. I think Jamie sent them to me.
All right.
Yeah.
I went to that press conference, and there was a couple of takeaways. And this is all speculative, but this doesn't make Jon innocent at all. Well, Jon's guilty. They've got the stamp it's guilty, but his actions were not that of a guilty man. Historically, guilty guys go bury their head in the sand. They try to outrun this thing. They get with their legal teams. They show up at the hearing. They hope for the worst, for the best. They get the worst, and they deal with it. Jon faced the music 12 hours later. He came through the hotel. His whole life's pulling apart right now. I imagine he didn't even sleep that night. He comes to the hotel with the fans. He comes into the media. PR 101 says you read a script that was written for you and you exit the stage. Instead, he read no script. He took every question asked of him, and that's just not what a guilty guy does. Now, I understand that he's guilty in terms of USADA, but what we care about is intent. Was he trying to get over on somebody? Was he trying to hide something? His actions would represent that he didn't. But here was the problem with the press conference, Joe. When you hold a press conference, you have one goal in mind, which is to win over the media and that they say nice things about you before you do go home and bury your head in the sand. Secondly, you want to break something. You want to get something out there to get ahead of the story. That's the whole reason you show up at these things. The only card that he had to play is, what did you test positive for? That was the only thing we didn't know. And they refused to reveal it. So that was a little bit weird. And where I was sitting, because I've been in Jon's spot, and here was the thing that happened with me. We're talking about Jon. This whole thing's going on with Jon based on a test that took place on June 16th. The reason that's relevant, when I went through my thing, he tested positive for some estrogen blockers. Those don't really have anything to do with anything. They don't help they're silly.
I think you might have just revealed something.
Yeah, he tested positive for 2 estrogen blockers.
Yeah, but no one else knew that.
There you go. I'm revealing it.
How dare you?
Yeah,
you broke personal information.
That's what we're doing here, though, right?
Wow, but this is like the only way that anybody could find that out is if you talked about it.
Boom, it's out there, right? Isn't that what we're doing here? Aren't we creating some news? It's a big news day. But listen, here's the relevance. And let me tie myself into this. When I went through